Hello, and welcome to The Kosh. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and The Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who have an association with Oshkosh or the surrounding Fox Cities area. How's everybody doing out there in the Kosh? Hopefully really, really good. You know what I know? It is cold. You know what's frustrating? There was a time in my life that I used to be stationed in Colorado. And when I was stationed in Colorado, the one thing about Colorado is the weather was crazy. So, like, you would get up in the morning and it literally would be, like, below zero. And so you would put in, like, your wool long johns and your uniform and stuff like that. And then by noon, it was 80 degrees. So you're dying. You're dying. And you know what? I think we got that yesterday. I'm not even going to kid. Like, I woke up in the morning, and for February in Wisconsin, it was like, I think it got past 40 degrees, right? And then all of a sudden, by like 2 or 3 o'clock, it was like 10 degrees. And so in the morning, it felt like spring. And in the afternoon with the wind, it was like, whoa, where did that come from? Wisconsin, quit doing me dirty. That's what I'm going to say to that. All right. Now, once again, we have an amazing guest this week. I'm super excited, as always, about who our guest is. I think this is going to be a fantastic conversation. I just feel the energy in the room, and I hope that you guys enjoy this conversation. Once again, you know it's about to happen, y'all. But I've got notes, but we're going to try this. So you know what? This week's guest is Bryan Keberlein. All right, Bryan, help me out.
Keberlein.
All right, Keberlein. Bryan Keberlein. All right.
So, not at all like it's spelled.
Not at all. You know what? There was probably a 99% chance I was going to slaughter it anyway. That's just, I feel like it's a running joke at this point. It's just what happens.
That's how we roll in Menasha.
Is that how you roll in Menasha?
You just have to guess when you see Oxtelevich or Olszewski.
Oh, my. May I never see that on a piece of paper crossing my desk. I would give up quickly. I'm always quick to just be like, is there a nickname associated? Can we just go to the nickname?
My default is just look at him and say, can you just please tell me how I say your last name?
All right. Yes, I do that. But then when I do try to say it after people tell me, I still slaughter it up. So, it's just part of who I am. And what I do is I just ask for forgiveness.
That's a good way to go.
Good way to go. All right. So, Bryan, you ready to jump in?
I'm ready. I pumped my Metallica and did my best to white shroot before I walked in, so I'm ready.
You said, did you just say you pumped the Metallica?
Heck yeah, right?
That's a new start for the Kosh. I don't even know how to feel about that. All right. Bryan, can you please share a little something about yourself and what's your connection to the Kosh?
You bet. So I grew up in Menasha. I'm a Winnebago County guy, and last 16 years I've been doing law, and a lot of that was in Winnebago County. Okay. Started in Fond du Lac, but then moved to the Winnebago County Public Defender's Office, and did that for 9 years, and then last 7 years plus been doing court commissioner work in Winnebago County. So judicial intake for all the judges.
How is that?
It's lots of stories. It's interesting. Definitely not boring.
Definitely not boring. Okay. Well, no, I can't imagine. I can't imagine court work ever being boring, right? Because, I mean, what comes through the court is literally a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And anytime you include human beings, there's stuff you just can't make up.
I hope that we get to a little of that, actually. All right. And what about where you were? So you're born and raised Menasha?
Born and raised Menasha. Went to Menasha High School, graduated in 95. Actually played baseball with Eric Kinski, which was awesome.
Okay.
Then went to Madison and worked for a couple of years, went to law school, and came back home.
Okay. All right. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Fam?
Absolutely. Yep. Wife and child, Jen and Lincoln. And then 2 yellow labs, Hooligan and Mac.
Uh-oh.
Mac Schwaz.
Schwaz.
That's his full name, yeah.
And Hooligan, is Hooligan a hooligan?
He is absolutely a hooligan. He's the worst counter surfer.
Counter surfer.
Yeah, 95-pound yellow lab that likes to eat.
Oh, well, yep. I can relate.
Absolutely.
As you know, Bosco, the podcast dog. And Kosh listeners, let me assure you, if you don't think that Bosco, the podcast dog, isn't sitting here trying to milk belly rubs here out of Bryan, you are wrong, because he totally is.
We are best friends.
Best friends. Okay. Let's jump into the first segment. First segment is What in the World is Going On With. That is where you say the phrase, what in the world is going on with, and you tell us what's on your mind.
Absolutely. So obviously I'm running for circuit court judge, thinking a lot about elections and, given the world and everybody's opinions and, thoughts on everything, regardless of what they are, what in the world is going on with 20% turnout at voter elections? I Googled it quick just before I came down again, just to make sure I wasn't off, but just barely over 21% the last spring election for turnout.
Really?
20%.
That's it?
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
The last judicial election that was here, I think the winning tallies were like 12,000, 9,000, and like 170,000 people in the county.
I'm just, I feel like that spring election kind of slips by.
Right.
I think it's the, if I didn't work in the environment, this one might have slipped by.
Yeah.
Because there's an election coming up, I believe, this Tuesday.
Yep. Primary this Tuesday.
Primary.
Then the spring will be April 5th. But it's shocking. I think, I don't know, everybody's got thoughts and ideas, but it doesn't seem like anybody's ever just sitting back saying, I think I'm just great with everything, totally comfortable, and don't care about the election. But
no. There's no such thing. People always feel like they got something. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like the parents who think they know how to coach, but then when it's time to volunteer to coach their children, they don't do it.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Look, I'm one of those people. You're going to talk about it, be about it.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Be the change you want the world to be, right?
Facts.
Absolutely.
Facts. Couldn't agree more. All right. What in the world is going on with Spectrum? Yeah. You know,
empire, right?
Bruh. Yeah, very much so, because here's my thing with them. So, like, I don't have like cable, but I do believe that they have the best internet.
Absolutely.
Right. And I need, I'm a big nerd, so I need the top of the line internet. But on top of that, to get your local channels. So I think it was like 2 years ago or so, they offered this package. They started offering this package where you could get 10 channels of your choice, right? Now, listeners, if you don't know, statistically speaking, the average person only watches 5 channels, right? That is,
sure.
People have 5 go-to channels. It's researched. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense. You know what? 10 channels, that gives me 5 more channels. So I was like, and more importantly, what I really wanted was the locals, right? Because I've been a cord cutter for a long time now. And the main thing that you miss is local news or things like the Packers, like Fox News, right?
Yep. Can't miss Packers.
Well, I try not to. Not that I'm a huge Packer fan, but just for the sake of conversation, if you don't know what's going on with them, if you can't say anything else to anybody in Wisconsin, and let this be proven, but when I was an insurance agent, I don't care who walked in the door. If I started the conversation with what's going on, how about them Packers, it was going to be a good conversation, whether they felt good or negative about them at that time.
Absolutely.
It is the thing that ties us together here. But so this 10 channel package was only like $21.99 when I first got it.
You're paying $95 now, aren't you?
That's almost right. And so I haven't looked at the bill in ever, but I found out I'm paying like $35 for it now. Now, here's my problem. I called them to switch some of the channels that you used to could switch what your 10 channels were. And then I found out they don't let you do that anymore. So here's my problem. I'm paying this $35 extra for this service that I can't even, make what I want it to be.
It's crazy.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
So you know what? How does that work? How do you charge me for 10 channels? You're charging me basically $36 plus fees, and then I can't even pick my 10 channels. That just feels wrong.
I have tried to avoid them for so long, but you're right, man. The internet is the way to go. It's tough. Hulu Plus, I'm all about it now. You get the local channels with it.
I'm thinking about it, but we already have Sling.
Yeah.
And so it would be a relearning of an app. And I'm good at that, but I'm not going to force the family into it. But Spectrum, if you're out there listening, can we change some channels? Can we change that policy? Because that's a bad policy.
Yeah.
If I'm paying for the service, guess what? I should be able to make it into whatever I need, or at least put a limit. Say you can only change it twice a year or something.
Sure.
But it shouldn't be permanent forever.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I suppose you can't do it all the time because you just switch every week, right?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that would be super labor intensive.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
I have a hard time with you not letting me ever switch it again.
Absolutely.
All right. So we got to talk Spectrum. All right.
Let me know how that turns out.
Bruh. We know how that's going to turn out. What it's going to turn out is with Hulu Plus is what's going to turn out. That's what's going to turn out. All right. Next segment, word association. This is where I'm going to say a word and you tell me what's going on. First word, food.
I thought about this one. Where I went right away though was family and friends, because you never just decide you're going to eat something awesome all by yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're
going to go out. Like we used to do a group supper club, get like 5 or 6 couples and go together to a supper club and just enjoy some food, enjoy a steak. Thanksgiving, my mind goes to, because Thanksgiving, you can't beat that with the food. But it's always family, So that's kind of where my mind goes right away.
Are you a comfort food person?
I like everything, man. I've learned to be a little bit of a foodie. Watched a lot of Top Chef for a while and thought I was understanding it. But I'm at a good steak, but I can totally get into a pizza or a cheeseburger,
Okay. Do we got a favorite place?
Favorite place in the valley right now is Town Council. Favorite place down here, like Ruby Owl. It's really good. I like that. Bar 430.
Ooh, I like Ruby Owl, and if you've listened to me talk about 430 on other episodes, their food is magic.
Yeah.
There's somebody back there in that kitchen. There's a young man back there, I believe, and he handles it. I can honestly say without doubt that 430 has made me the best burger that I have ever had.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Cocktail or beer?
I'm a beer guy.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm starting to try, bourbon, whiskey a little bit, but by definition, I'm a beer guy. I like a lot, like Spot and Optimator.
What is that?
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
That's some German stuff, yeah. Kind of a darker, caramely, like just nice. That's kind of my go-to. But yeah, sometimes an IPA that's going to punch you in the face or something. That can be good.
I like how you put that, because IPAs can.
You got to pick the right one.
All right. Is there, you got a favorite brewery right now? Because, they're popping up like
I know,
wildfire,
cool.
right?
I think that's probably one of the neatest things about some of the beer right now. Like the Fifth Ward, I think, is it down here?
Yes.
I always get it confused with Milwaukee and Third Ward, but Fifth Ward here is really good. Up in Neenah, Lion's Tail has got some good stuff. Menasha's got one that's called Emprise.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple different ones around the area that are definitely worth always checking out.
Yeah, I didn't know about the one Emprise.
Emprise, yeah.
Okay.
At Barrel 41 in Neenah too. That's a newer one on Commercial Street.
All right.
Yeah.
I need to check those out. Streaming.
Ozark, right?
Oh,
gotta be Ozark.
Is it Ozark?
Right now it is for sure.
Okay.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, really?
Because I'm a little scared to. Because people have really talked it up.
Okay. All right. So my first experience with that was Breaking Bad. I mean, there's no way it's going to be that good because I was way late to the game.
Right.
It was that good.
Is that good?
It was that good. Yeah. Ozark starts out a little rough. I mean, I think there's some significant violence, but it tones down and the story just becomes so amazing about, kind of a family living in dysfunction, but still trying to have like family dinners. It's kind of wild.
Sounds like Duck Dynasty.
Bruh.
I'm just saying.
There's a little bit of that out on the Ozarks.
Duck Dynasty is it's in rotation in our house. When you don't got nothing better to watch, somehow Uncle Si ends up on the TV. And you gotta watch Willie and Uncle Si because that's TV ridiculousness at its finest.
Once you start Ozark, let me know. You'll whip through it.
Okay. All right. I'm at that point because I've had enough people mention Ozark and I'm kind of like, yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. Shop local.
So I was thinking on this one, kind of what we were just talking about, some of the burgers. And I think we're spoiled in this area. I moved to Minnesota for a little while to do law school. I was in St. Paul, and I could not find a bar with its own burger that was like, unique, like a Pete's Garage down here in Oshkosh or Mim's up in Menasha, the Old Grog. I mean, just something where it's all its own. There's nobody else that makes it like that, So my shop locals, definitely go find yourself a good burger from around here. Terry's downtown, right?
Oh, Terry's. I used to, I haven't gone there in a long time, but I used to go there a little more regularly when I was younger. And their food is really, really good. Well, it's fried, so I mean.
Right? And it's $6. Like, you can't beat it.
No, you can't beat that. I tell you, my only gripe about Terry's ever was when you walked out of there, you smelled like the burger. So that was just how it went down.
When I was in high school, there was a little place in Menasha. It was like 10 seats, literally 10 seats in a counter, and you had to take clothes off to be able to go in because when you laid them down on the ground at night when you got home, I mean, oh my God, that smell. The Hungry Bull. Yeah.
The Hungry Bull, that was the name of it?
Yep. That was something.
See, now I'm trying to remember. Okay, there's that place in Neenah that does the quarter-pound burgers. Is it Papa's? Have you ever gone there? I think it's on Commercial.
Yeah. I know what you're talking. It
like,
is.
And they have one day where it's like a really affordable burger, and it's just a good big burger.
It is. You're right. I forgot about that, but that is a good burger too. Yeah. I think that's pretty cheap too. It's like $6 meal.
Yeah. I don't know anymore. Like,
that's true.
Things that used to be cheap after COVID ain't cheap no more.
Right.
I'm getting some sticker shock here and there when I go out and eat now.
Absolutely.
All right. Sports.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a Packer, Brewer, Badger guy. But I feel like I'm with the campaign right now. I'm missing what Johnny Davis is doing for UW, but it's been a little bit awesome to watch as I'm checking it out. He's amazing. It's kind of like watching. It reminds me a little bit of Devin Harris.
I don't watch college basketball. Actually, I just don't watch college sports, even though everybody says you should because it's better.
Oh, so I'm one of those guys. I try not to be that guy, but it's better. You'll see Johnny soon, I think, too, in the NBA. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? You did what I always gripe about as a standard Wisconsinite. People forget the Bucks.
I know.
And look, we're champs.
I know. Isn't that terrible? I mean, Giannis is awesome, right? I mean, he is unbelievable. But I have a hard time getting into it. I don't know why. I just can't do it.
And here's my thing. It's not you personally. It's Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. There's the sticker with Wisconsin State. It's got those three teams right on it.
Well, I mean, they always the Bucks is the stepchild of Wisconsin sports. The Bucks just get done dirty, and now we even got a championship, and the Bucks still don't get the love that they deserve. They're the Bucks.
I know, and I mean, Giannis is such a good human being. It's even worse.
He is. If there is going to be the face of the league, you don't get a better face than that because his whole thing is about hard work.
Absolutely.
Right? He wasn't that player.
Right. Absolutely.
And he just works hard. Yeah. Talks no smack.
Right.
And very few interviews.
Joy and emotion,
Boom.
Yeah.
And just goes hard.
Absolutely.
So I admire it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though. I feel as if spring is coming, I kind of want to go to opening day this year.
Yeah, when the Packers lose, and I go right to the Brewers. When is opening day? How far away is that?
Have you ever gone to an opening day?
I've never done an opening day. We did one April game. A bunch of us went down, and it was cold and windy. It was hard tailgating, getting ready, but it was good. It's always fun to go see the Brewers.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that stadium's amazing.
I don't even like baseball, and I like Brewer games because this is just a good time.
Yeah.
I actually like tailgating at Brewer games more than I like tailgating at Packer games.
Yeah.
It's a different scenario.
My wife's a huge tailgater for the Packers. I always want the TV right in front of me so I can watch it and dissect it and see it, I feel like I'm missing it.
Yes. I know it's about the energy and the experience. And, I recently went to a playoff game. The playoff game, because, that's how things went. But at the end of the day, I pretty much I need the announcers.
Yeah. I don't know. Somehow I miss plays when I'm there. Like I'm watching it. I see it. I remember watching 17 run down the field and like he's going to be opening, catch it when, there was a Seahawks game, caught a touchdown, saw it happening because you can see the whole field. But it feels like I missed all the plays up before that, I don't know how that works, but I'm there. I'm watching it.
I've made the mistake of going to games and then I'm watching the Jumbotron the whole time and not even watching the field.
Yep.
And then I'm like, I should have just stayed home. Because that's ridiculous.
Yep.
Now I'm sitting here with this $12 beer. I'm just saying. I'm not knocking it. Okay. Last word. Supreme Court.
Yeah, I thought about this one. Ethics is where my brain goes because that's what it's supposed to be, the pinnacle of what that is. And I was appointed by the Supreme Court actually to the Judicial Conduct Advisory Committee. I always say that wrong. But we do, as a court commissioner, I work with 7 other judges, 1 attorney, 1 citizen witness, and we give ethical opinions to judges if they have questions, hopefully before they would do anything wrong.
Hopefully.
Right. But yeah, they can send a question, they can send a thought, whether one that actually is relevant. The polar plunge was one that came up years ago. It wasn't one that I did, but the question was, does the polar plunge demean the office of the judge, and can the judge participate if someone else raises the money for him? And the opinion came back that it does not at all demean the office of the judge, because that's one of the ethical, rules.
Right.
But that the fundraising, you absolutely can't raise money yourself, and you absolutely can't have someone else raise the money for you.
Okay.
So I think there's probably an area in there where you could pay the money as opposed to fundraise the money, but the tagline for Polar Plunge is that, you have to fundraise $75. So that's the gray area for the judge.
Right.
Yeah.
So, have you ever done it? Wait,
no, I haven't been able to do it the last 7 years. I'd like to do it. Maybe at some point. We'll get some clarification on that. If I pay the $75, if I can do it.
All right.
I went and watched a bunch of prosecutors do it last night. That was some good stuff.
Oh, I've done it one time.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Did you hold your breath?
I'm going to tell you, I don't know what I did because I basically blacked out frozen. I don't know. I don't know. Bruh. I jumped in and I did it with our Student Veterans Association, and it was a last-minute decision.
Okay.
I wasn't even doing it because, the students were going to do it, right? Sure. But there were a couple of students that backed out, and I just got the itch, and I was like, you know what? All of a sudden, I felt my inner Jack Nicholson or something. I don't know. And I was just like, you know what? I can't ask them to do things I'm not willing to do.
There you go.
So I went and I did it, and I was like, whoa.
Popsicle.
Whew. It's a rush.
Yeah, right.
And here's the worst part. I can't swim. So I made the cardinal mistake of I should have jumped and kept my face above, but I didn't.
You went under.
I went under and panicked a little.
Yeah.
And and I think one of the students kind of grabbed me and kind of pulled me toward shore. Yeah, and I think I grabbed them too out of frantic. So
that's awesome.
Oh no, it was horrible. The only good thing about it, the experience, other than it is an amazing fundraiser, and I do 1,000% support what they stand for and what they do, is the hot tub afterwards.
Yeah, no hot tub last night with the COVID. Oh, there were some disappointed faces. Right?
Bruh. That's sad.
Yeah, that was something.
So just frozen for nothing.
frozen, and you better have warm clothes.
Okay. Next segment, Kosh Hidden Gems.
Nice. I got a couple. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
So one I was thinking about, your show's talked a lot about volunteerism, and I'm a member of a Rotary Club up in, it's called the Fox Cities Morning Rotary Club. But even Oshkosh has got the Southwest Rotary Club, Downtown Rotary Club, and the work that those folks do, I think sometimes kind of goes unnoticed. I grew up in Menasha, and they used to have a seafood fest, and for as long as I would live there, I had no idea that Rotary sponsored that thing, the giant party in the park. But some of the same things happen down here in Oshkosh with the Rotary clubs and the work that they do. And I think people don't know the international fundraising they do to provide clean water to people, to provide toilets to countries that just don't have anything like that, to work to get rid of polio. There's been some significant work on that Rotary's done. And then just all the local stuff that they give to. It's pretty awesome. So definitely a hidden gem.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I had my first real conversation with them recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know about becoming a member, but nonetheless, there's partnership that I'm hoping that will happen, because it is an amazing organization and really good people involved, engaged people, trying to make something positive happen.
Yeah.
I mean, just period.
And so for me and the work I do in the court, it's my opportunity during the week to be with people that are happy, trying to do good things, doing positive things out in the community. And not that there aren't people like that in the courts, but it takes a toll. It grinds on you a little bit sometimes. And having that opportunity, we do Tuesday at 7, and it's an hour where I feel a little bit smarter, a little bit happier, learning something.
Yeah, I could totally get that, because there's just good people in there.
Yeah, and some great speakers. I mean, just amazing speakers that they've been able to bring in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said you got a couple.
I do, yeah. So the other one I was just going to mention, one that is near to my heart, the drug court here in Winnebago County. So I'm the chairman of the Winnebago County Safe Streets Committee, which oversees all the diversion programs for the county. And the drug court's been operating for, I want to say it's over 20 years at this point. It was one of the first ones in the state. And they just do amazing work with getting folks that are precipice of going to prison, and instead of that, turning their lives around and becoming sober, becoming productive. And they have a drug court graduation, they call it, once they've completed the whole program. And it's like watching, chicken soup for the soul, watching a family show up for somebody that's never, hadn't had that involvement because they wrecked all those bridges for so long. So just the drug courts here are absolutely amazing.
I really like the premise of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think incarceration for situations like that is the answer.
Yeah.
And you got to leave people opportunity to grow, especially young people, because let's be honest, young people, we all do dumb things when we were young.
Yeah.
And and people explore things. So I mean, I like the premise of let's not go to the worst scenario. Let's try to give opportunity and give guidance and programming to rehab individuals. I just feel like that should be more of what going through the legal system is about in non-violent, non-dangerous situations.
I was just going to jump in and say the same thing. It doesn't mean that everybody qualifies. I think what makes this program really special is some of the hard work that they do up front to find out who the right people are that are going to benefit.
Okay.
But it's just an amazing way to try to end recidivism as opposed to just reincarceration over and over and over again.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately it saves money, which is, there's a bill for, warehousing people in prisons and jails, and
facts.
Better to put that into getting them sober, getting them healthy, getting them good jobs.
Well, just making them productive. I look at the human capital side of it. Just getting other additional productive, good people back into society and engaged, and you never know where those gems are, right?
Yep. And healing families,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
Big on the healing families. Okay. What else?
So last one, I got one more, just kind of a shout out a little bit, but Shiloh Ramos is the Winnebago County Board President, and he's stepping down at this point. But I think probably the general public doesn't know Shiloh, but when you talk to anyone that works in the county that is involved in the budgets or, all the different things that the county does for people. Shiloh is the guy. When you just say Shiloh Ramos's name, they're like, yeah, that's Shiloh. Like they just, Shiloh's the man. That guy knows everybody and just solid guy.
He sounds like he might need to come on the Kosh.
I think I got a couple ideas for some guests for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that offline. That sounds like a great idea. All right. What's the Kosh need?
Yeah. So this one, I honestly, when I first looked at it, I was almost thinking about your show, just the Kosh. And Nate Olson would be the other one that I was going to say. Like that guy is a local attorney that has just got one of the most unique stories from being a law enforcement officer, military, now an attorney, and just a super awesome, amazing guy. So he's a good one. But the Kosh, as far as Oshkosh, this was tough.
Wait, you could go Fox Cities. We can broaden it because we got a broad audience.
Yeah. Even the Fox Cities. So I think it was Mr. Jackson, your last was kind of saying, just more to do. And I was kind of a little bit narrower on that. We need something for those teens to do. There's got to be something else to engage kids, to give them somewhere to be. We got things like the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCAs, which are awesome and have a lot of good programming, but there's got to be that other piece out there for kids to be out doing something other than, Minecraft on their iPads, right?
Facts. And I've always thought that about here, that's just the missing segment. Like there's tons of programming, right? There's intramural sports, or not intramural, but what do you call it? Rec sports and other things you can get kids involved in. And like the other programming would be through the Y and stuff like that. But there needs to be, like, I almost feel like, and I know the Boys and Girls Club has a teen center, but it's still like skating rings.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I grew up with skating rings. Absolutely. And you could go to the skating ring. And I know my wife, who's born and raised the Kosh, that skating ring, they used to go to that all the time. Like, that's a thing. Like, I just think you need those kinds of things where you can just gather. And I don't think, malls are closing. Yeah. So, like, I remember growing up as a teen, walking around and just walking the mall.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't know if they do that anymore.
Yeah. I don't go to the mall, so I don't know. That's why it's closing. But yeah. But yeah, I know. I don't know, where are they supposed to go? Where are they supposed to find that positive influence in doing something? I can't think of the last time I just saw kids out in a park playing like football or, throwing baseballs around. It's almost like it has to be organized or there's nothing. And I don't know why that is. It's one I can't put my finger on, but
can't put your finger on. I will say, there's certain communities that do it and they do a really good job. And, shout out to the Hmong community. Yeah. They're young people gather. You see them, they gather, they play soccer, they play volleyball. Very community, and like not just that, but like there'll be some people playing and then they'll have a whole nother group that's just hanging out and watching them play and just having a good time. Might even bring a little music, a little boombox or something, but like just good connecting. They're young people and they do it pretty often. I mean, so it happens, but it doesn't seem to happen like across the board like it used to.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember even in high school getting together and playing a pickup baseball game or hitting home run, playing home run derby but it just doesn't seem like there's little spots anymore. And is it because like I just don't know.
Ryan, maybe we're just old.
Right? I know. I hate to admit it. I got hurt playing softball a couple of years ago. I know I'm old.
Ooh.
Right?
Did you pull something?
They said it was reserved for car accidents and jet skis or something like that. I tore the tendon off my pelvic bone, so my hamstring completely separated.
Wow.
Yeah, that was something.
I'm not going to lie. That's why I don't do nothing no more. Because I'm scared of that. I'm scared to throw the back out, hurt whatever, sprain something out, because the recovery time ain't quick no more.
No, because the rest of my brain still tells me, oh, you can do it. You can still hit.
Facts. Facts. Bruh. All right. The Naughty / Heroes Corner. This is your opportunity to put whatever you would like. It doesn't have to be a person. It can be a person, a thing. It could be an organization. It can be whatever. In the Naughty or Heroes Corner, what do you got?
So this one's been on my mind too, just because we had a heroin overdose task force discussion. But fentanyl, methamphetamine, heroin, 45 overdose deaths in Winnebago County last year, which was a record for us, unfortunately. And then 5 already in January. So now we're on pace. I mean, obviously that's only 1 month, but that's terrible. That's getting close to 60 if we hit that every month. But the drug problem out there right now with the fentanyl is just beyond words. When I talk to law enforcement, when I talk to the police chiefs, it's almost the first thing to come up, just because the use of Narcan, the need to have Narcan available, the need to try to train people on how to use Narcan and to just make sure that they have it, is something that I think people fought for a while. But now the overdose are so significant. It's so deadly. Yeah, it's just hard to get away from. So I can't think of anything more naughty than that personally.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what you can do about that. And I've got a good friend who's been a former guest. Shout out to Chris Tarman, who's very involved in this fight. And I just don't know, how do you fight this right now?
Yeah.
Because it just seems overly accessible and growingly prevalent.
Yeah, and the quantities, the stuff I'm seeing in court, it just keeps going up. It's kind of hard to wrap your brain around. And when heroin really started to hit, the scary thing was you were seeing like these 26-year-old women with no record, grandpa's in the courtroom crying, doesn't know what to do and how to help her. And now with the methamphetamine, it seems like we're seeing these 45-year-old trade labor guys that have no record and they're strung out on methamphetamine. It's hitting these people in ways that I don't think anybody guessed. And it's just so addictive. It just absolutely rips people apart and they just can't get out of it. But that's why the drug courts, I think, are so important. That's why some of the programming that we've been trying to put together is so important. We have to keep making effort, have to keep collaborating and working to try to figure out how we're going to get out of this problem.
Do you think there's been an arc of transition in the perception and philosophies of drug users?
That's a good question. I think there's definitely it's like a pendulum. It keeps shifting back and forth, right? Like, make sure everybody gets out to make sure everybody's locked up. You have the incidents like in Waukesha, like all of a sudden nobody's supposed to get out on bond. And it makes it so hard to figure out where that middle is, because there's probably got to be some incarceration to try to get people clean, to try to at least get them on the right track. But it seems like we just need more treatment options readily available immediately. A common bond argument is that, well, they're going to get into treatment. They just don't know when, or they don't know where that bed date is. Right. And how do we get those bed dates available really quick?
I guess what I was thinking is like it just seems like we're going through a huge philosophy shift from the war on drug philosophy. Mm-hmm. Like that was a way different philosophy and approach.
Yeah, for sure.
To it.
Absolutely.
And, and I do think this is a much better answer than that because I don't think that solved anything.
No, I don't think that really put us in a good place. Yeah, and I think the part is I think there's still this slow realization that it's, the drug use is it's all across the board.
Facts.
All across the age spectrum, all across, any race, ethnicity, or otherwise.
It's universal.
It's absolutely universal.
You can't paint that in a corner and you can't put it on a population.
No. I think, if people could come in and watch court or took the time to come in and watch court, they'd be surprised sometimes at what they see, And I think there's a lot of people that sometimes say you got to be tough on crime, but sometimes you got to contemplate whether it's your uncle, your cousin, or otherwise that's sitting there,
That's what I was going to say. Like, they want to be on tough on crime until it's the people they know or their family. Then they want mercy and second chances and forgiveness.
Yeah, there's still a lot of work to do. I think we're doing better more recently with putting more teams together, more collaborating, more trying to think outside the box, bring people in like, the health departments and things like that, and not just try to silo how we're attacking the problems, but make it something that we're all looking at, all thinking about, kind of pool our resources and actually try to make a dent in it.
Absolutely. I like that.
Thanks, man.
All right. Okay. We're at that time of where, you know, oh yeah, I'm trying these new sounds out, y'all, and I'm liking it. It is time for the topic of the week. That's long. I'm gonna have to work on that. I'm gonna have to work on that one. We might have to edit that down a little bit. Our topic of the week. Well, you know what, Bryan? What is our topic of the week?
So my topic of the week is mental health, just because I think it affects so many facets of what's going on out in the world right now. I think, you know, mental health with people after being cooped up during the pandemic with COVID, you know, trying to deal with getting, you know, help and resources for people, just so important for people to focus on their own mental health. But outside of that, you know, I can tell you, I was compiling all the number of cases I had completed over the last 7 years, and mental health cases went up from, you know, maybe doing 600 a year in Winnebago County up to 800 the last 2 years. And I don't know if that's strictly pandemic and COVID related, or if it's, you know, increased awareness by law enforcement or by crisis or by hospitals. But it's just something that we definitely, it's the other real prong outside of drug alcohol use that it needs attention, and it's getting attention. The Court of Appeals, Supreme Court, has started re-examining some of the cases that are coming out regarding mental health cases, put more attention into it, making sure courts, counties, and are handling the cases appropriately. And so it impacts everybody. And I think sometimes we forget how much it impacts us all. You know, I think everybody's got somebody that's probably struggled or dealing with something as far as mental health. And I think it's just so important to remember that there are therapists out there, there are counselors, and there's nothing wrong with going and talking to them, getting help if you're in that rut, you're stuck or otherwise. And yeah, it's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart, just because it struck me, and you know, it's affected people I know. So that's my topic of the week.
Okay. I love that topic. Particularly what I like right now with the direction of mental health is at least that it's in the conversation. It's being considered in the bigger equation of everything, right? It's always been there.
Yeah.
Right? I just don't think we had terms or words for it, but it's always been there. If you think back to people in your lives or family members who are older, and, you know, I think of people who served in different wars, and before the term PTSD was there, those guys weren't stoic. They had PTSD.
Yeah, right.
Right. There's things you've been looking at this whole time and may not have had the terms for them, or they weren't defined yet, or weren't researched enough, perhaps.
Sure.
So yeah, I think I love this mental health topic.
Yeah, and I think just accepted, right? Like, you know, that older generation. And then, you know, there was time I went and saw somebody for a little while, just need to get out of a rut. And it still, even though I knew there's therapy and I accept that it works, and I'd seen it work for thousands of people, you know, to actually make me get up off my butt and go talk to somebody, you know, it took some work. And it's weird that there's, you know, even when you're aware of it, there's that hump and you still got to get over it. But, you know, the more we talk about it, the more we embrace it, the more we say it's not a bad thing. We try to get rid of that stigma. You know, I hope there's ways that we can help people that maybe need that help, just because we make it open and accessible.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because I do think, I think the change also is now it's like mental health doesn't feel like it's the other person. It's, you know, someone.
Yeah.
Going through, whether it's something like anxiety or whatever,
yeah,
you know someone
right
going through something.
Yeah, even kids after, you know, being in school, not being in school, getting them back into social functions, right? Like, and interacting with people, you know, just overcoming that little bit of anxiety of getting out of the house. I mean, my son all of a sudden was like, yeah, I think I'm good. I just don't want to leave the house anymore. It's like, well, you're 9, dude. You got to leave the house sometimes, right? You can't just stay here all the time.
Bruh. Yeah, no, you getting out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You getting out to the street lights. Come on.
Absolutely.
All right. What's the role that you see mental health playing in the court system?
Well, we have there's Chapter 51 holds, so people that get detained if they have a mental illness might be dangerous. There are emergency protective placements, maybe people that are detained based on dementia, strokes, and can't function at home anymore. So the court is the one that steps in those emergency situations to try to make that determination. Yes, they can be held because you're detaining somebody. It's not a jail, but it's similar in that they can't leave. So there has to be that immediate determination as to, yeah, that's appropriate or no, it's not. So it's super important, because it's really potentially the difference between life and death.
Those got to be really hard decisions.
Oh man, they are. It's hard sometimes just to watch, because you're literally watching someone go through the worst moment of their life. So yeah, it is hard to be a human being and then separate yourself and make that judicial decision.
Oh yeah. Okay. What else? What other ways is mental health connected?
Well, for me, like I said too before, the Rotary Club is my way to kind of ease some of that mental health, to be around folks that are, dealing with normal life things and not talking about, homicides, sexual assaults or otherwise. So it's nice to have those conversations. And I think that's just what people have to remember too. I think we all as a community, we work hard. I think that's what the Fox Valley is like, blue collar, go to work. But I think we got to remember to have that, fun sturgeon spearing or ice fishing or, ice skating with the kids or skiing, get out and do something. Even seasonal affective disorder, right? It starts to get a little bit lighter during the day and you start to feel a little bit better, like you want to get out. Just remember that we got to get out and try to enjoy winter, even though it is cold, as you said.
It is so cold.
It is really cold today.
All right. Mental health, I just can't even stress how important that is right now. And I think there's going to be research that has come out about the whole ways that COVID and mental health
Absolutely.
has, and I think there's going to be a huge conversation that's going to need to be had, because I think when we finally do get past this, there's going to be a lot that we need to, talk about, research, and recognize, because there's people who've been greatly affected by this, and the people, in like most things, they're going to be the people who are on marginalized and on the fringes, and they don't have the voice.
Yep. I was kind of thinking figuratively and literally. There almost needs to be this big coming back together, right? Like we all need to reemerge from our homes, kind of come back together. Remember, we're a community. Remember, we got awesome things and resources in this area that we can do and share with people. And I think we got to get back out there and do that.
Yes, very much. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say about mental health?
I think that, like I said, the Court of Appeals and Supreme Court has definitely put more attention on it most recently. There are a lot more cases coming out about meeting the proper elements as far as handling one of those court cases. And it's just so important. It means so much to so many people, and it's just not something that we can brush aside, so we need judges, we need corp counsel, we need attorneys that are experienced and professional and able to handle those and have the experience to handle those. Just think it's so important.
Facts.
Appreciate it.
That was awesome. But now we're going to start winding down. It's that time. Once again, Kosh listeners, we are a work in progress. We are a work in progress. We are always trying to improve and get better at this interviews, doing this show, and I appreciate you. I appreciate all you Kosh listeners out there. Thank you for giving up your valuable time and taking time to listen to us and the guests. We really, really appreciate it. Once again, please feel free to reach out and let us know anything, whether you want to be a guest or let us know how we're doing, or whatever the scenario is. Email us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. And I am still waiting for someone to leave me a nice voicemail with a question for the new segment we want to roll out, Ask the Kosh. I'm waiting, and that phone number is 920-385-9298. Once again, 920-385-9298. Be the first. Give us that question. Challenge myself and the guest. We will cover any topic you throw at us. We're not scared over here at the Kosh, you know? Bruh. Very much so. All right. Well, you know what time it is now. Brian, you know what time it is now?
I know what time it is.
Oh. It is shout out time. Oh my God, I love shout out time. Shout out time is my favorite time of the show. Okay, Brian, who you got? Who we shouting out?
All right, my first one's one that I lost. Her name is Mary Wolf. She had passed a number of years ago when I took this job, but she was definitely the attorney that made me the attorney I am today. And without her, would not have. There's just no chance I would be in this position. Just a brilliant, brilliant woman.
Love it.
Yeah. Got to thank my wife and kid, Jennifer and Lincoln. They've been so patient over the last 60 days or so, and they're struggling to get through this campaign race because it is pulling you in every which direction and all over the place, but they've been awesome and super supportive, so absolutely shout them out. And then my treasurer, Nate Olson, awesome guy, as I mentioned before, local attorney, and if you get a chance to talk to Nate, I guarantee you'll be entertained for a good 45 minutes to 2 hours. There's no way he's letting you get away. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He's that man, huh?
He is that man. He turns, he can turn anything into an interview.
All right. Well, hey, Nate, you heard it. I'm putting it out there. Hey, Nate, would you like an opportunity to be on the Kosh? We would love to have you. Very much so. Okay, my shout outs. I'd like to send a shout out to all the Black History Month planners, facilitators out there this month doing this work. I appreciate y'all. There's some great programming that I've seen going out, and, it's getting really creative and convenient in some cases because people are doing it virtually. So I just think that's amazing. So we appreciate you out here doing the work. Special shout out to my diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioners out here. I had the opportunity, I do this work. It's a different kind of job, and you need others. You need to connect with others who do the work so you have a place to put this energy, whether it's positive energy or challenged energy, somewhere to vent, somewhere to make sure that whatever you're thinking isn't crazy. So shout out to my other DEI practitioners, particularly my Green Bay DEI coordinator, my DEI coordinator for Outagamie County, my DEI coordinator out in Sun Prairie, and my DEI coordinator out in Eau Claire. Y'all are amazing, brilliant. I appreciate the work you do. Let's keep changing the world. Shout out to Chuck Self. Met this gentleman. Just brilliant. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's awesome.
Maybe there's things to come in the future, and to James Price and the Herd. Always, y'all know, if you know me, you know I love the Herd. That's my team. There's nothing better than going to a Herd game, and I got an opportunity to connect with James Price from the Herd, and actually James Price from the Bucks. I shouldn't even put him at the Herd because really he works for the Bucks. Yeah, and just an awesome individual, and hopefully there's some things that's going to come of that connection. All right, now we are at the last part of the show, and this part is super important. Parting words of wisdom. Brian, what do you have for us?
Said it once already, and I'll say it again. Be the change you want to see.
That's simple.
That's simple. Go out and do. I think sometimes we think that there's these massive things that we have to accomplish, and if we just do those little bits, we work together, make that change, and I think the world's going to be a better place.
Facts. The Kosh.